Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva He Nath Narayan Vasudeva He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for almost reaching, making my subscriber count reach 2K. So thank you for that. And also the watch time is quite engaging. Today I want to talk about the story of Samundra Manthan, okay, the churning of the ocean, which makes us explain a lot about planets and a lot about us. But we just most of us have discarded that story, or maybe not given it the due attention that it deserves. I don't know why, but I'm here to do that, right? I'm here to give it that due attention that it deserves, and I'm going to tell you why. That story is so important in order to understand ourselves, okay, and the planets. And planets are basically, they're not external, they're all within us. So how is it like that these planets are playing out in our lives, and all these transits that take place, why do they impact us in a certain way? Even those answers can actually be resolved if we understand this story. It is from Sanatan Dharma that astrology has come, and now when you talk about so much about astrology, you don't reach anywhere, because you're not reading between the lines, you're not looking at things the way that they're supposed to, right? And that's why often many people, when they do astrology, there is no conclusion and there are no remedies that they reach to, or the problems are never solved, because we have never understood fact of the matter in its actuality. We have never understood it in its depth. Samundra Manthan, so the churning of the ocean, right? You can see in this picture, I'll try to put it here. The picture has like a tug of war is happening, but here it's not just a tug, and people are not at war in two groups. There is something in between, if you see in the picture, and that in between stuff that is there, this in between stuff is the churning of the ocean, the Shir Sagar that it is called. And if you read it in my community section, I wrote about all of it, but I didn't go in depth of it, right? The reason I didn't go in depth was to save that depth for this video. So this churning, or that tornado that is coming in between, is actually the consciousness of a human being, okay? And on the left are, at least in the pictures that I see, are all the gods that are called as suras, and on the right are all the gods of the demons, basically, that are asuras, okay? And suras are people who used to have, it is said, all the qualities of divine sattvic qualities. They were rajasic too, but they were not tamasic. And majorly the sattvic qualities used to overpower or over anything. So the love was without any attachment. And when I use the word attachment or detachment here, I would like to make it clear that there was a strong spiritual power within them to overcome any adversity, because they were the letting go power was so high. The thing in heart and mind, and there was so much of alignment in the body, mind and soul, that they knew that, so they were God themselves, right? But essentially this quality of suras and asuras in us is in us, and the consciousness churning is taking place ever since we are born. So the sura quality in us, essentially, I'm trying to explain it to all of you from the point of view of us human beings, you and me, normal, and not supernatural beings like Lord Krishna or Lord Ram. So the Sura quality is essentially the quality that tries to teach us that, we all belong to God essentially, and we all belong to a world that is His domain, and there is really something like that. But the material world is different. So when we come to asuras, we are exactly opposite energy of it that is in us. So we get attached. There is a lot of ego, and ego does not mean attitude that, oh, I am me. You could be like, you are all about people. You could be a people pleaser, and you could be the one with the lowest self-esteem or worth, but still you have that asura quality in you. You could be the most compassionate person as well, but you could still have that asura quality in you. And let me tell you how. Because when you do something for someone, you are having essentially an intention with them. And versus in the sura, so when there's a divine quality in us, that divine quality basically always says that, the intention is just to do, because I'm just the doer. Versus I am the doer. The asura quality, the demonic quality, always says that I am the doer. It's me. It's because of me that, this is happening and that is happening. For example, I'll just take an example of myself, probably. Like, so a few years ago, maybe, I thought that a person asked me out because beauty, right? So it's me, it's my beauty. But it could also be that, so at that point of time, I didn't have an understanding of why is it that a certain thing is taking place, and I always thought it's me, especially in these areas. But so that is an asur quality. When you think that it's me, it's because of me. Now, of course, in the Bhagavad Gita, or in the story of Samundra Manthan, it's not said that you should not have ahem, okay? Because in fact, Lord Krishna went ahead to explain that in Bhagavad Gita, ahem has been given importance. So it said that aham brahmasmi, right? I am the universe. Everything originates out of me. And that is how you should think of yourself. Like, if you are born and your consciousness is a reflection of universe, then literally we are His children, like God's children, and we need to really treat ourselves and respect ourselves with utmost care and love. On the contrary, when I talk about this asura quality, I was just trying to explain you this thing, that there is this thing called ahankar, and ahankar is supposed to not be in us. Okay. Now ahankar, because I have told you aham, so I'll go ahead and explain to you what is ahankar. Ahankar is like, you have aham, and so you have the ego, but now the ego has come into Kara. So it has come into the form of doing. Now your ego is doing things, and that is ahankar, right? Why this subject is so important is because, let's say if you have any planet in your birth chart, like you have sun, and you want to fix the problems of your sun, right? Then the concept of ahem and ahankar comes into play. This is where we need to have a very sound understanding of what is it that Lord Krishna is trying to tell Arjun, because we are Arjun. Okay. And essentially, this whole life is the battlefield, and our teacher is Lord Krishna. Okay. Now we need to explain, now we need to understand that ahem is very important. It is. So if we try to take it from psychological or sociological or emotional point of view, then we need to have healthy boundaries with people. We need to have clean, healthy boundaries in society. We need to have balanced point of view in our profession, that, if I'm doing something, I am meant to do this because it is my doing. I have to do it. But it's not that the work that I do, supposedly if you are a doctor, I save lives of 100 people. Okay, it's because you are gifted with this quality that was gifted to you from someone else. So when you have that sort of understanding within you, you drop the ahankar, right? And you start doing things from a beautiful foundation of aham. That is that because I am a part of the universe and I've been gifted with this quality of healing, and I was such a good student that I did my MBBS or whatever, and I've been gifted with so much of intelligence and compassion that I'm able to do it. Now, let's say if I am not able to save, and I'm coming to a very important point now. Let's say if I am not able to save one life today, then it doesn't make you a bad doctor. Then it doesn't make me a bad doctor. You can say that your self-talk can be that way. And let's say if I have saved 10 lives today, right? Then it doesn't make me God. As simple as that, right? But it needs to be put into exercise. And that's why the concept of spirituality in India, but I would say in all over the world, it's like this. To keep our egos balanced, to keep ourselves grounded. That's the whole point of, I would say, all sort of spirituality that we essentially learn from, all religions, right? Samundra Manthan's story is the same thing. There is sur and there is asur, and the churning of the consciousness is taking place. And what happens when finally the nectar of immortality comes out from the churning of the ocean, the amrit, which is called in Hindi. So now everybody stands in a row in their line that now hard work is done. Now we're going to have this nectar of immortality, and that's it. So the gods were like, okay, but I think so. It's a foul plan, because the asuras had come and they had made a request to all the gods that we deserve a chance and all of it, and there's some story behind it. So but I am not going to go to that part, because I want to essentially explain what's happening over here. So do you know like what this amrit is, or what this immortality is? Literally, this is nothing but self-realization. So like when our egos are balanced and when we are very balanced, right, all sorts of fears start to diminish, right? We develop like we live without worries, we live without any sort of tension, and we are human beings, so we are not super souls or something. Like we have emotions and we have our mental stresses and worries of the day-to-day life, right? But neither do we escape when we have self-realization, nor do we from those mental worries or tensions, nor do we go towards the darkness. So this is why these gods, these demons were very, like we also want to be immortal. We also want to be realized beings. So like, can we have it? And there is this story, like, the guru Brihaspati. So he's Jupiter. He said that, okay, you can and stuff, because he keeps all tracks of all these things, and he's the wise, learned one, and the gods of all the Brahmins. And Brahmins, I mean the learned ones. Please don't take it on the caste, okay? Now the thing is this, that of course there was a sense of understanding in the gods that this may not be a good idea to let like these asuras, demonic qualities, let have this, because again, intention. So a lot of focus has been given on in Bhagavad Gita about intention. Like you'll see, no other book has written so much about intention as much as Bhagavad Gita has, and I think we should all know about it, that which book has written the most about intention. And I do not say that out of my religious pride or something. It's just general awareness. So the book states that if we have good intentions, like for instance, if we have pure intentions, then it doesn't get converted into any sort of karma, and then we like become clean. I would like to explain this to you. Like, for instance, I do charity. Okay, let's say you do charity. You go ahead and you donate whatever that you want to donate. It can be anything, even your time and efforts and physical labor. From like that to, it can also be money or some clothes or whatever old things that you had, and you go ahead and you make that donation, but your intention was somewhere or the other that I'll get this in return, or I rule them now, I own them now. They have 5 pairs of shoes just given by me. Then you have created an account of karma, right? But let's say it's the other way around, and your intention is that I am supposed at this point of time to give this, because this particular thing is anyway of no use to me, whatever it is that I'm giving away. Even if it is, let's say, your physical labor that you're doing for someone, then I have a need to do it, because like the universe is demanding me to do this particular thing at this point of time. So this usually belongs to the other people, the person whom I am doing charity for, and my work is just to be the doer here. But the ultimate doer is someone else. The subtle difference? And this is a kind of understanding that we all have. You don't need to be a very realized soul or something for this. I mean, if somebody tells you that this is a work for the big people, I mean, bullshit. I'm sorry to say this, but just to have this sort of understanding doesn't make you very grand, or doesn't make you very super soul. This is a normal thing. That's why we are human beings, right? Because we evolved biologically from animals. We are still animals, but then we developed a social understanding and we became social beings, and now we are at our most civilized form. But how did that civilization ever take place? That is only happening because we have raised our awareness, we have raised our consciousness. And when somebody says that, oh, you are so kind and you're so charitable, I think you are a great soul. If you did that, you are having, so to be in Krishna consciousness, or to be in a state of awareness and do that, doesn't make you great. We are supposed to be that way. So it's not a big thing to develop that quality. And if, like, let's say any one of you have not developed qualities, that quality, then I think you should do, because this is where in astrology now comes the problem of doing remedies. So now what happens is that, again, now the word remedies, this is your pending karma. The astrologer is telling it to you as a remedy because that's the most widely used term. And now this remedy is supposed to be performed in order to gain something. Again, so that's why, because that level of consciousness is not there, and the purification of intention has not taken place, maybe we are accumulating more karma, and we are not even getting rid of the past one. Forget about acquiring something, okay? We are all the more acquiring something positive out of it, like nullifying the balance. We are acquiring more karma. So this thing is related to this. And so that the conclusion of this story is that there is this guy called Svarbhanu. He was the king of all the demons, all the asuras. And this person very so Svarbhanu has certain traits. So this guy has laser like sharp focus. And of course, he's the king of all the demons. So there must be something that he became the king of all these different asuras, different set of people. So he had tons of qualities in him. And also the qualities that make him, have authority. But the authority is of a very different kind. So here the authority to be a king for these particular people. So first of all, these set of people themselves had not the pure intentions, because whenever they did something, they did it out of a very impure intention or something. And here this person wants to have the nectar of immortality, so that all the asuras can live forever. And so because he's not allowed and they are not allowed, this guy goes to changes his form, okay, becomes a sur, becomes a god, and stands in between of sun and moon, okay, the two luminaries in our solar system. And now Svarbhanu is usually not identified by anyone because he got disguised, but sun being the conscious, the awareness energy, and moon being the subconscious energy, the energy of the belief, intuition, the gut feeling, and this pure awareness, light, sun, and he stood in between of them. So although the laser like sharp focus is there, I'll tell you why, and he's smart and all, but he was stupid to do that. Okay, and he stood in front of in between both these luminaries, and sun and moon recognized that there is something wrong. So Lord Vishnu, okay, who has taken the avatar of Lord Vamaha, if I'm not wrong, Narsimha, right? He has so many avatars, Krishna. So Lord Vishnu quickly changed his form, and the only female form that he has ever been in is of Mohini. So Moh means, like mantra mugdha, like making you all go gaga for it. So there are so many things that make us go gaga for something, like maybe the best pair of dress or something in these days, or maybe someone very beautiful. So this Mohini, Lord Vishnu, actually became this beautiful Apsara. He was so enchanting, and almost like it is written that almost like very seducing, and came in between to kind of sort of like allure everyone, but especially because the gods took help of Lord Vishnu to help sort out this scene of Svarbhanu, first of all, the Asura. Because Svarbhanu has a very laser like focus, very sharp focus, he senses. So he doesn't sense, he is kind of sort of able to, because of his laser like sharp focus, he's able to make out that there's something about to happen. And he drinks the because there is someone very supreme and very powerful in front of me, so quickly takes the nectar. He has one drop of it, is what we know, that Svarbhanu has one drop of that particular nectar, and Lord Vishnu takes his Sudarshan chakra and cuts his throat. And from there, we have two planets more. So we all have Jupiter, we all have Mars, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mercury, all these 7 planets. But the 8th and 9th that got added on to the human consciousness is Rahu and Ketu ever since then. Because these two entities essentially became immortal after having that nectar, right? After having that Amrit from the churning of the ocean. And Rahu Ketu now, but later on, I think the name is given Rahu Ketu by Lord Jupiter, because this particular Svarbhanu first of all cries a lot, goes to his own kingdom, sees that his head is different and the body is different, makes a fuss about it, creates a scene about it. Okay, I would like to say that. And then he goes to the court of the gods, and he's standing there, and he's making all sorts of appeal. So he makes an appeal to Lord Guru, Jupiter, and Lord Brahaspati gives him the name of Rahu and Ketu and says that we'll accept you. But Rahu Ketu, because the intention is always bad, remember, so Jupiter might not have a bad intention, Mars might not really have a bad intention. However, Mars as a planet, I'll not go into it, but you get the scene, right? However, Ketu, Rahu, always the intention somewhere or the other is not balanced. So this was the concern of all the gods, that the intention is always impure. But now they're accepted, And whenever all these kinds of meetings take place in the court of the Lord, or whatever stuff that takes place, now these guys are there, and some of them really had bad faces on, right? But Guru had to accept, uh, because Guru has to, so like Jupiter, Guru, teachers always have to accept all kinds of students, bad and good ones. So this is what happened over here, and Guru really has ways to deal with bad students. A good teacher knows how to deal with bad students, right? That's why, like Lord Guru is the so Jupiter is the guru of Ketu, and Mercury is the guru of Rahu. Now Rahu is just the head, and while Ketu is just the body, uh, Ketu also has desires, and to have desires uh, is not bad. But here the intention of this particular entity called Ketu, the south node of the moon, that is also called, is very pure. Here the intention is quite pure, because essentially Ketu has a spiritual belly, and I feel, my understanding says I need to have a proof for this. I think I missed it out. I forget things, but the reason for that is that the nectar has reached the belly of the Ketu. So the self-realization has taken place. And also now, if you see, this particular body has no head. That does not mean that the brain, the Ketu doesn't have a brain or anything. It does, but its brain is heart. His brain is more of gut feeling, which is better than having an intellectual mind all the time. So a gut feeling also, it is now said, it has been found out medically that your gut is a mind. So that's why the gut feeling word is not incorrect. It's actually right, because gut is a mind, and when it says something, it's so the gut and the brain axis is there, and they're connected to each other. And it was found in one of the studies, and I'm not wrong about this one, that gut is more intelligent than the intellectual one. Now if you see because we're continuing this, it gets interesting now, because Rahu, so extremely malefic energy of all, right? People will go ahead and say that Rahu, okay, shadowy planet like Ketu, but Ketu is spiritual, and Rahu is not good. You have a lot of material desires. When you run through Rahu Madasha, or you are a very Rahuish person, because you're just demanding a lot, or you're into tantra for all the wrong reasons. Now let me tell you, when people do vashikaran, right, they will do vashikaran for all the wrong reasons these days. Why? Because now let's say if they want to do a vashikaran, which is like getting your partner, it's not a desired object of love, it's literally your soulmate in control of you, because maybe due to certain unfortunate incidents, the person has gone out of control, and it has impacted the beauty and the very dignity of your marriage. But these days people want to do this tantra for all the wrong reasons, even like tantra sex, which is absolutely a very very clean energy. So if you have seen the temple of Khajuraho, all sorts of sex is going on. If you see those figures, if you see those statues, those idols, they are into different sex positions, right? And they're performing this holy and beautiful act. And as soon as you enter the temple, it is, I have not gone, I want to go, of course, because I want to go. Why not? Everybody wants to go, I'm sure, to the Khajuraho temple, but maybe I'll go soon. So but when you enter inside, there's nothing, there's just emptiness, and there's a sense of peace, because there's nothing, and it's all like empty, and you can feel that stillness, it is said, within you. You can ask people who have gone there, or you can read stuff on internet, or maybe watch some vlogs about it. So what is the symbolic meaning? Because here the entire video's message is to understand symbolic meanings. So the symbolic meaning is that when you perform a union, a physical intimacy, when a union is taking place, it is taking place not for those reasons that, again, the intention is pure. So, but these days, tantra sex has also become bad because we need to understand we need to understand how Rahu is working. And why I gave this answer was not to prolong the video. Why I gave this example was not to prolong the video or make you bored about it. It is because I want you to understand where certain people are always coming from, right? So Rahu is now the student of Mercury, and Mercury's Shishya is Rahu. And as I told you, Svarbhanu already had this quality of a very laser-like sharp focus. And Mercury also does have those abilities. Mercury is always trying to nitpick on things. It's a very good organizer. If we see Mercury is a well balanced planet, because or a very well balanced energy in us, because it's our subconscious mind, the third house, or the original ruler of Mercury. And it's also the sixth house energy, which is the problem solving energy, the organizing energy. So Rahu is learning all of those things from Mercury, because Mercury is now teaching it, because they are the asuras, right? And the suras have to teach something. But the intention is always bad somewhere or the other. That's why in Rahu Mahadasha, people will say that, black magic and all of it. The only reason why people, are scaring you by saying all these things, that black magic will have a say on you and shit, is because somewhere or the other, you yourself are getting drawn towards these things. It's just a matter of, it's like a kid who at one point of time, says, I want to have a chocolate ice cream, but then the other point of time says, I would like to actually have a butterscotch one, and then goes ahead and says, I want to have a Barbie doll, and then goes ahead and says, I want a jet plane. Doesn't know what it wants, because not capable enough to make decisions or to, stay at one place that way. Always needs to be guided. So if you want to, people telling you Ketu Mahadasha, Rahu Mahadasha, or telling you Ketu's effect or Rahu's effect aapki kundli mein in a certain way, or whatever kind of negative shit I am telling you, just remember one thing, that you are being guided by your Jupiter at that point of time, and you are also being guided by that by your Mercury at that point of time, and you can enhance the energies of Mercury and Guru in you, Jupiter in you, and solve these mindless energies in you, these aimless sort of energies within you, and it will be all good to go. The more you start to ruminate upon the black magic, the more you start to ruminate upon all these kinds of things, is going to make your mind weak. And we don't want that, because we essentially, sun and moons have the highest say. They had such a high say that they were the ones who actually kind of sort of predicted the foul play taking place of this particular guy called Svarbhanu. They are such strong planets. Why do you want to really, I'll go ahead and use the word mess up. I was about to say something else, but okay, why do you want to mess up with your sun and moon? Please choose good people. Please choose such astrologers who really know how to initiate self-work in you, how to guide you to self-work, instead of adding fuel to the fire, adding fear and phobias and other sorts of psychosis that will not lead you anywhere, please. So that's why I wrote in the article that astrology cannot be taken as a standalone. It's a mixture. It's a spiritual and a mathematical subject. With that being said, and having understood by all of you, I would like to conclude the video by saying that the Sudarshan Chakra, the weapon that was used by Lord Vishnu when he was disguised as Mohini for Svarbhanu, is the weapon of extreme awareness. That's why you may have seen these people in the art of living, they have come up with the Sudarshan Kriya, because it's like you are aware of your breath, you are aware of yourself. It's a weapon that is in the hands, in our hands. We all have it and we can use it. So I hope I have cleared the story of Samundra Manthan. I hope I have cleared all these things. It's a very long video, but it was a storytelling sort of a video and interpretation. So the sages and seers who wrote these stories, they know the human mind, and this is beyond psychology. This is not just your mind, this is not just your physical body, this is like a whole understanding of the spiritual self. So thank you all of you, and if you like my video, then you can give it a thumbs up or something. I don't know, I don't usually say these things, but I felt like I should start saying, because it kind of sort of like reminds people. So it would be a good gesture on my part to remind you that if you like, then you can give it a like, right? There's a like button there. And if you really want to see more of my content, you'll have to like subscribe me, because then, you know, like my videos will start flowing on to your YouTube page and homepage and stuff. So I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.